Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday live stream. And I have to tell you, things are looking pretty good. I try to do reality sessions and not too much hopium. There's a lot of good things to take a look at. And also, congratulations, because today we hit yet another all-time high for Bitcoin. And not just Bitcoin, we hit an all-time high for the entire crypto market. And we are approaching 4.4 trillion. So maybe the people that were talking about how they said that we could see 5 trillion in October for a market cap, maybe they were actually correct. We're going to find out. So we can see that Bitcoin, if we blow it up, as far as the all-time high, it was today, about 2 hours ago, 126,080. So congratulations for us, because I think everybody in here is a Bitcoin holder. I know we like the altcoins and everything else, but Bitcoin is just one of those that I think is the staple of most of the portfolios that watch this channel. So we can see the last 24 hours. Everything's great. Ethereum hasn't hit its all-time high yet. I think Ethereum was around 4,950. Check me in the comments. So a little bit off, but pretty damn close. But looking pretty good. BNB also hit an all-time high today, matter of fact, over 1,200. This is the first time. So congratulations, BNB holders. Solana back at 233. All right. Dogecoin 6% for Tron 1.2 and Cardano 4.5. So things are looking pretty good. So the question then is this the time to, to really start to pack it in and go, that was a good time? It could be, and you could take profits. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. Nobody ever went broke taking profits, just how it is. But I got this idea from Plan B, and he was talking about the RSI today. And he said that we're not even close to being oversold. And I was like, let's take a look at that. And what he was talking about was the monthly RSI. Now, I'm not a big chart person, and of course, everybody, or there's others in the chats that do this for either a living or they live their life is checking these charts. But for me, I take a look at the relative strength index. So I'm like, okay, let's break this down. What are we looking at? And we can see that since 2014, 2013, we can see that, of course, when the RSI hit these astronomical numbers, like 96, anywhere in the red zone was a pretty good time to sell. And of course, anywhere in the green zone, when we were, well, I don't think I ever hit that, but below the line, the trend line of 50 was a pretty great time to buy. And we can see in 2013, RSI went to 95, that's the 1st of June, then the blow off top, you had almost a 97 for the relative strength index. And again, this is on the monthly. You can do a weekly, daily, you can take a look at this logarithmically, time frames. It doesn't, there's different ways to break this down. This is not the video for that. We're just taking a look at just a generalization. And then we can see that in 2018, the 1st of January, which I'll be honest with you. I remember that in December, it actually peaking, and then it kind of went down. But the RSI it was oversold, 97.4 or overbought, and we're not even really there yet. And then of course now we see over here, as far as buying, got 90, and now here we are over here, our oversold territory, 74. So you think to yourself, you're like, okay, well, if the relative strength index here, and we're not even close, and this is it, right? There is one caveat I want to bring to everybody's attention, because we can see blow-off tops, right? Makes sense. 2013, 2018, 2017, 2021. This is the 1st of April, 2021, and it hit 90. Pretty high up there, right? You think to yourself, okay, 90, I'm going to sell. But remember, that wasn't the top. The top was roughly November, September, October, right here. We're going to take the 1st of November. It's the monthly. Actually, we can come over here, 1st of December, if we really wanted to. But we were barely in the red, and that was the all-time high for Bitcoin. So the RSI would be great if it worked every time. And of course, all models are wrong, and some are useful. This is useful. So we use these models in conjunction with other models just to make sure that we can collaborate and see which ones would give us the clearest picture. And RSI is a great picture here, but we can just see that as of the 1st of November 2021, which was around more generalization of the blow off top for the last cycle at 72. You know what we're at today? 74. So if you're looking like that, you're like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the last thing. I just don't think that's true, but I've been wrong before. Now we can also take a look at what is the market value to realized value, or what we call the MVRBZ score, market cap minus realized cap. Now we can just see that, again, the same thing happens, right? We've got 2013, blow off tops, 2017. It goes in these like astronomical spikes, right? But you can see there's diminishing returns. We can take 2013. If I could draw a line of this thing, I would. The 2017 to what might be considered a collapse. And again, it didn't hit the all-time high. This is in February. What was it like in April? Well, the MVRV score was below 5. It wasn't in the territory where you might want to say this is taking profits. And that's what kind of messed up things everybody in 2021. We still thought, and if you haven't watched the video where I talk about all the price predictions are wrong and essentially useless, please check out that video. It takes a look at all the people that were wrong. Hint, hint, everybody was wrong, including myself. And when we talked about these things, you can just see, like, I remember people talking about the MVRVZ score. And they're like, hey, it can't be time to sell because it's at least 100,000. That's what everybody was saying, and that's not what happened. And then, of course, that's April. What about in July, June, 3.05. So we can see right here, the indicators are not saying that this is the top. And then, of course, if we can pull them all together, one of my favorites for just the down and dirty, coinglass.com, we can see that right now it is still saying that nothing has been hit, and it is still a hold and 0% sell. Does that mean that you should not take some profits? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what the indicators are saying. And I think that's what I'm going to stick with for right now. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. I know it's a little bit of a mixed data because, I mean, there's so much natural exuberance in the market. I get it. I love it. I love it too. It's great. I love green days. I love when everybody's happy. I love when everybody's not slinging mud in the comment section. It's great. But as we move forward, we have to be a little bit stringent about what we think we should be selling or not selling, and just kind of take a look at the data as best as possible. Because I'll be honest with you. I mean, if we take a look at one more piece of data, the M2 money supply, we are crushing it as far as money printing. This is the US M2 money supply. And actually we can, let me zoom in here. What? That's not right. Let me go all the way to the front. There he is, Rob. So we can just see that, I mean, M2 money supply in the US, we are, as of just 1st of August. Is that right? Hold on. Oh, there we go. 5th of October, 22.2 trillion. Okay, that's not bad. Then we take a look at the global money supply, and we can see the same thing. I mean, we are off to the races, and we're above 90. We're approaching 100 trillion plus as far as the money supply that is, which means there's a lot of liquidity sloshing around. So we're doing pretty good as far as the market goes. Remember, I mean, we got an all-time high for Bitcoin, BNB, and the market cap itself of the entire crypto market has hit an all-time high as of today. So why aren't we even higher? I think that's the bigger question for me. Why aren't we even higher? You know what the reason is? I think some of it is, I think AI is eating our lunch. Now just stick with me for a second. I think that Bitcoin and certain altcoins have a place, but you have to understand, I think there's a lot of money that is flowing into the AI sector. And we talked about this yesterday with Jerry Hall, where we talked about compute, electrical demands, and the power that is and how much it's going to take. And we can see that there's a definite war going on for the amount of electricity that we're going to use for compute and artificial intelligence, and how much electricity is going to be allocated for Bitcoin mining. Now, it's a free society still, but I will tell you, when I take a look at these things, I just see a lot of money flowing into AI. I'm not saying that we won't hit, 5 trillion or 6 trillion or even 10, 20 trillion. I don't know. But I'm just saying that I think there's a little bit of slowdown because of this. This was from Quantitative Perspectives. AI deals are dominating the venture market, or the VCs. I'm actually quite happy in a little bit of a reference point, because with the VCs getting out of the meme coins and essentially screwing everybody over as they pumped and dumped all their different tokens that were worthless, I'm glad that these VCs hopefully have gone to AI and do the same thing over there. But there's a lot of money flowing into it. Also, as a reminder, I don't know if you guys heard this story, but over in Robinhood, it went down today. It went down because there was an AMD surge. Apparently, NVIDIA and AMD are talked about a partnership. This is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar thing as time goes on. And of course, this is all about GPUs and processors, and AMD is going to work together with NVIDIA to bring artificial intelligence to the forefront. And because of this, there was so much action, which I don't think it was that much action, but apparently it's a big thing in TradFi. A lot of people were trading this, and this is, I know this looks like almost like a meme coin, but this is the stock price of AMD. Wow, look at that. It went down a little bit. That's okay. And as this is a Friday into today, you can see the jump from $164 to $226. Let me see what this looks like over a month. How about 6 months? Okay. How about 1 year? All right. So you can see where it's coming from, right? A lot of money is flowing into that. And again, I think AI is a big narrative. I think that if you are looking into altcoins and you don't really want to get into AI, there is altcoins that deal with artificial intelligence. My favorite personally is Aether, because I have a big fat bag of it. And I believe in them using the GPU dormant processing power that's just sitting there in the data centers, being able to pay for that, give those to the companies that need that compute power, and then you get paid in Aether. And of course, there's a host of other ones that are out there, a couple that are on Solana and stuff like that. And I think it's a big thing. But again, I think there's a little bit of a disconnect between the money flows of where it's going. I think it's coming into it. Now it'll lead me to my last point, and then we'll get into a little bit of altcoins. My friend Steven was telling me this like 4 or 5 months ago. And he's like, everybody's going into stocks. I'm like, that sounds boring. He's like, no, it's happening. It's happening right now. People are sick and tired of getting screwed over in the crypto market. The VCs screwed us. I'm sick of some aspects of it, and I'm going to go heavy into stocks. And I was like, all right, have fun. And guess what? He's crushing it. And it's not just about trading stocks, and it's about puts and calls and being like in a safe manner of a little bit of a trading. Anyhow, I linked Steven's handle, his X handle, in the comment section or in the description. Give him a follow, because he puts a lot of good information out, and he talks about the trends. And remember, this is one of the guys that told me about some like plays like Bonk before, when Bonk was like number 500. He's the one that told me about it, and of course, he got in the top 100. And now he's talking about calls and puts and being a little bit safer as far as traditional, and then just kind of, he does both, but moving it forward. So if you want to hear more about what he has to say, again, follow him on X, because he's got a lot of good information. And then lastly, before we get into the Q&A, altcoins, a little drama, which everybody likes. Everybody likes a little bit of chisme, a little bit of gossip. And Aster, which is another altcoin that I have a big fat bag of. And if you remember, I bought it early and sold half, because that's the half and half rule. Now it's just all house money, which is fine. But they just got listed on Binance, and there was an immediate like 20% jump. And I was like, hey, this is fantastic. However, and everybody's happy about it. Aster, if you don't know, it's perpetual trades, futures in perpetualness, so you don't have to actually ever shut it down. It just kind of goes on forever. And this is on a decentralized exchange. There's no KYC or AML. You can do what you want to. You can do up to 100, even 1,000x leverage. It's kind of crazy. And it's backed by CZ, Binance, and of course Binance and BNB, all that stuff. So everybody thinks it's going to be the next great thing. But check this out. This is from Guy over at Coin Bureau. And he states, DeFi Llama, the platform, or DeFi Llama is delisting all of Aster Perp's data. Why do they do that? It's because there's almost a perfect correlation between Binance and Aster's perpetual trading volumes, raising serious integrity concerns. So what they're saying is that the things that are going on in Binance is being copied over by Aster, and they're using those metrics together. And if that's the case, then this is not a good look for Aster. Now, this is a developing story. We'll see what happens. But I thought, since I talked about Aster, you might want to know about that, so you don't go out there and go, you know what? Rob bought it, so I'm going to buy it. And what the heck? No one told me about this data thing. I think someone should have told me that. Well, I just told you about that. So that's it for that one. And then lastly, alts. I think we need to start to think of as a collective. as to what to hold on to. And like the great Kenny Rogers says, you have to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And I have to tell you, there's a great website called coingolive.com. And you have to take a look at this and just say, how far away are we from an all-time high for my favorite altcoin, whatever your altcoin is? And when you take a look at this, remember there's certain things you should have in the back of your head, which is, have the tokenomics change? When this project was listed, was there eventually a big dump or a big massive amount of tokens that were put into the circulating supply that were stopped in the original part? What happened with the team? Are they actually doing the right things to lead to adoption? Are there good things going on behind the scenes? Or is this all speculation? What kind of fees are they actually generating? This is actually a business, and what are they doing? So I want you to take a look at this CoinGoLive and ask those questions to yourself. Then also take a look at how far away they are from the all-time high. Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're pretty close, right? I mean, Bitcoin's hit an all-time high today. Ethereum, 5% away. XRP is only 17% away, and it hit its all-time high in 2025. Tether's Tether, nobody cares. BNB, again, today, hit an all-time high. Solana, January 19th, 2025. Okay, we'll give it a pass. It's pretty close. USDC, no one cares. Doge, 2021. 2021. Hasn't hit an all-time high, 73 cents. So, yeah, I'll look at that and say, that's quite a long time. Now, again, I'm not telling you what to sell. I'm just bringing these things to your attention. Like, things are really popping off. And if these alts don't hit their all-time high, at least by November, again, taking into considerations the tokenomics, the team, the fees, and all that stuff, really just think about that. Tron, 2024, that was a long time. It was like December. So it's quite a bit of time. Cardano, 2021, not a good look, Cardano. Chainlink is 50% away from its all-time high. Cardano is 71% from its all-time high. Shoot. SWI is 32%, but that was in January 25. Let's see, what else is 21? Avalanche, it's been 4 years. And they're 78, geez Louise, they're 78% away from their all-time high. Bitcoin Cash, 84% away. And it hasn't hit its all-time high since 2017. What is everybody doing with Bitcoin Cash? Hedera, 60%. Litecoin, 70% of 2021. Anyhow, just take a look at the website and just make a good decision for yourself, because sometimes these things, it's just a business. And like I always said, it's like a restaurant on the street. Restaurant might have the best food of all time. Service is fantastic. Prices are reasonable. You go there the first day, fantastic. Everything's great. You don't go back for a couple of weeks and you notice that everybody's there. Then you come back a month later, nobody. Just you and your wife looking around going, why is there nobody in this restaurant? It's awesome. It's cheap. Good food. What happened? Then you go back 3 months later and it's out of business. These things happen. That's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everybody talk about is extremely time sensitive, especially right now as we get into the heyday of Q4 2025. That's it for this one. If you want to stick around, I'll do a little Q&A, answer all your questions, and we'll go from there. Meme says, not dead yet, some of my altcoins. And you know what? Like, some altcoins just take a little bit while to move. I mean, for whatever reason. But if like you haven't heard much about your altcoin and you haven't heard anything about like what's going on behind the scenes, and is there any more partnerships coming on? And then is there any more improvements that are happening that are like not just BS improvements, but actually do something? Then okay, I got you. But some of these projects just awful. They don't, I mean, I'll give you a pass when you first came out, but over like 4 or 5 years, you should be able to do something. Have some utility. Make things actually work. Grow your base. Don't just have a bunch of people who are sitting around going, okay, community, it's all about community, and just holding on, and it's all speculation, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, we'll see. Thank you, bot. Coin go live. Bot really did earn that wrench, I'll tell you. Let's see. Response says, hey, Rob, first cycle. Can you tweet go team when it's time? Please, we don't round trip. Yeah, well, I'll be tweeting out or posting out and also be doing a video about when I sell. So I'm like, hey, you know, I sold like 25% of my bags today. Thought it was a good time. And based on this indicator and that indicator and then sentiment and then gut feeling, because let's be honest, like some of those indicators we looked at, would you have sold in November 2021 based on the indicators I just showed you? Doesn't look too good, just saying. And you know what's funny is that we talked about this in a couple weeks back. And we were taking a look at Pi Cycle Top. And the Pi Cycle Top actually hit around April 1st, 2021, when Bitcoin was around 58,000. And I even said, I go, you know, if you would have got out of 58,000, and as for that, I mean, you would have missed the 67,000, but I mean, in all intents and purposes, it's not too bad. So I'm just saying that indicators are great and we should lean on them, but there is something that is in the background that only you can decide for yourself. Okay, what else we got? Shane Trevor. Jay Davis, Rob, today might be the day. Well, I hope it's the day of whatever. I hope it's a good day. I hope everybody's having a good day. Oh, yeah. Jake Thomas, did you catch Paul Tudor Jones on CNBC? Bullish on gold and Bitcoin. PTJ, Paul Tudor Jones, he's been calling this for quite some time, and I think he's right as far as like with Bitcoin and the melt up, and then he thinks that after that we're going to have a marvelous crash, and I can see it because we can't keep going up in this fashion forever. There's going to be massive money printing, and there's massive money printing. You know that there are issues with that much free-flowing fiat into the system. You can't just keep doing that and not have everything go out of control. That's why it doesn't matter where you're at or what you're doing. If you just hold assets, you're going to be fine. And that's why we on the channel harp about holding the hardest asset, which is Bitcoin. But if you want to hold gold, silver, land, real estate, even equities, stocks, great. Just don't leave things in cash too long, because you have to own these assets to come out the other side. And I think it's going to happen. Let's see. Texas Joe, Rob will use Kraken to sell your bags, concerned about fees and spreads eating the profit. Joe is right. Spreads are ridiculous. And there's let me see. There's a link in the description. And it's these crypto critical videos. And it says this one, number 10, beat the spread on exchanges. And there's a couple of different things that I talk about in there of how you can beat the spread. And if you don't know what the spreads are, basically it's like this. You go to Kraken or Coinbase or whatever, and you say, I want to sell my fudge coin for $10. That's what I see. It's actually $10. And the exchange is like, that's cool. The fee is 34 cents. You're like, that's great. Nice, easy fee. However, when you sell it, you're like, why is it you only sold it for $8.50? You guys just screwed me out of $1.50. Actually, almost $2 with the fee. Well, we got these market makers, and these market makers are very stringent, and we got to make sure that all the orders go through. And that's why we have this ridiculous spread, which screws you out of your money. Anyhow, so those spreads, and like I had to be as objective as I possibly could. My favorite, by far, exchange is Kraken. And I took a look at Coinbase, and I took a look at, I believe it's Binance US, and I also take a look at Kraken. And everybody had ridiculously overpriced, overstated fees, not fees, spreads. And it really was eye-opening. So when you're selling these things, you can go into the advanced portion of it. Maybe that Coinbase Advanced, that's Kraken Advanced, whatever else. And Binance, I don't think is as bad as it, but I'm an American, so I don't have access to that. Binance US, yeah. And you just put in some limit orders. Now, of course, people say, you're not beating the spread by putting in limit orders. I get that. But if you're going to sell it at fudge coin at $10, why don't you just say, all right, I'll wait till $11. And then it gets to $11, it sells, and then it's like, hey, guess what? You sold it for $10 because of the spread, whatever. So you do something like that, makes it a lot easier. And then also the next thing is you might want to think about is what I'm thinking about a lot of is putting it into stable coins. If we put it into stable coins, you know, I can just swap that from within my TANGEM wallet. And if I do that, I don't need an exchange. I just hold those stables for a while. And then I can move them back into crypto when the market eventually does have a huge, massive pullback. So we'll see. But that's my advice, Joe, is watch that video and then use some limit orders and do some advanced trading. It's not that tough. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Rob, do you own any gold? I do own gold. I own some physical gold. I own a little physical silver. And I also own them in my Roth IRA. And I think it was a great thing to have. I never understood why the gold bugs hate us so much. We're trying to do the same thing. Red Crayon says I rolled in the ETF. It's a good idea. Kind of wish I would have invested in the ETFs earlier. Less taxes. Less taxes. It's true. And I know people give other people a hard time, like, oh, paper hands. You want to put your Bitcoin into, you know, this ETF, which you're not your keys, not your crypto. Hey, guess what? I don't want to get wrench attacked. And also, I'm kind of tired of like carrying this piece of paper around or having it in the bank, hoping nothing happens to it. I'm just diversifying my storage. That's it. And then just tell everybody to leave them alone. Leave me alone. I love your backyard. I love it too. But unfortunately, I tend to blend into it as it gets darker. That's a green screen. Let's see. Jesse has the same sentiment I'm getting from a lot of people here in Puerto Rico. Jesse states, I'm so ready to get out of the market, Rob. 5 years has been a long wait. There is this meme where you see where it says 5 years of sacrifice equals 50 years of freedom. And it makes a lot of sense because this person had invested into whatever he invested into in the meme. And then, of course, over 5 years, he's made enough to retire, essentially, not have to answer to anybody, doesn't have to go to work. He has real freedom. He goes where he wants to go. He does what he wants to do without answering to anybody. That, I think, is the goal we should all have. And Jesse, I will just say like this. I know people will tell you, like, no, you can't sell anything. You can't sell, definitely can't sell Bitcoin. What's it going to hurt? Like, what's the point of having Bitcoin if you're homeless? I mean, okay, I'm serious. What is the point of having Bitcoin if, like, you're living in like a rat-infested hole-in-the-wall place where you're in like a high-crime area? It sucks. It's dirty. It's disgusting. But you're a multi-millionaire holding Bitcoin. What the hell does that do for you? I don't get it. Not everybody's, you know, got their own company and is a billionaire. I'm just saying I would sell some stuff. But yeah, Jesse, I'm with you. Southern Stacker, what's up? Just got here making a few dollars the past few days. The spread is bull. Yes, the spread is bull. Mr. Bird, when I first got into crypto, I lost so much in fees and spreads. It's true. And then when you're looking at the spreads and the fees, you're like, who cares? Because you know what? I'm going to make this all in this next 10x. And then, of course, off it goes. Steve-O says crypto pro isn't bad. True. Is China going to ban crypto for 1,000th time? Those are the funniest. I would assume so. A whole 250 living the dream. William Fisher says if Bitcoin dominance rolls over, does that mean we actually see a 2x in the alt market? That's historically what happens. You know, we see Bitcoin dominance. What did Ben talk about in the last NFA show? I think Bitcoin dominance starts to rally in September into October. Then we start to see like a little bit of a reversal. Then November, December, we start to see more of the altcoins run. So yeah, historically speaking, that's usually what happens. However, as a reminder, Bitcoin peaks first, and then 2 to 3 weeks later, then altcoins really run. So the indicators that I was talking about, you have to understand that there's also some leeway or some runway for your altcoins. It's not just going to be Bitcoin hits all-time highs and Fartcoin hits all-time highs. It's going to be Bitcoin all-time highs, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe longer, maybe less. And then you see altcoins run up. Who knows? It might even be less because things move so quickly nowadays. DiCaprio says, did you check the Lite VM invitation for Litecoin yet. I would go to that, but I haven't gotten one yet. Yeah, Marcus Aurelius, exactly. Be a Stoic. Rob, Core, Knots, Core. There we go. I'm enjoying my $2 Pepe spins on Kraken. Does anyone receive more than $2? Kraken's doing good stuff. Oh, wow. Bill Fisher, Rob, did you ever look at Robinhood? 0.85% spread with no fees. Did you take a look at it? Didn't know it was that good? And I'm pretty sure you can take it off platform onto your cold storage device. Pretty good. Brian Bravo. And this, I think, I'm going to leave it right here. Brian's right. Same things happened with me. Zero friends and family have asked me about crypto. If you look at Google Trends, all the trends for most everything, crypto related, is not that high. I think we peaked out around August for like altcoins. That's about it. But if you look at Google Trends for anything with AI, it's peaking right now. And I think right now, the story is AI moving forward. So look at those projects that potentially are artificial intelligence backed in crypto, or just get into, you know, NVIDIA or AMD or whatever else. Not financial advice. That's it for today. So look, like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We're talking about is time sensitive, and that's it for tonight. So thanks to everybody for stopping by and hanging out with me for 31 minutes. That's fun. That's it for today. See you guys on the next one. Good luck.